Hello, Dr. Michael Broom here, CEO of the Center for Human Systems. Let's talk about the main reason teams fail and what most of us would rather avoid. Conflict. Most of us would rather sit in a 2-hour traffic jam or put up with a toothache rather than deal with conflict at work. But here's the irony. The differences that comprise conflict are the doorway to truly powerful teams that are innovative, synergetic, and creative. We want to avoid conflict because it can be like being caught in a storm with thunder and lightning hitting much too close. Unfortunately, teams that avoid conflict and its differences never really become teams. They stay in the shallow end, polite, careful, and suspicious, hoping that they're safe. The trick is for teams to become conflict competent, not conflict-free, conflict competent. Conflict competent teams don't try to avoid the storm. They learn how to sail through it and use it to get to where they want to go. So what is conflict competence? It's the ability to engage in disagreement directly, respectfully, and productively without shutting down, without blowing up, or defaulting to a go-along to get along silence. A conflict-competent team doesn't panic when tensions rise. Instead, they get curious. They listen deeply. They lean into differences with interest rather than defensiveness or hostility. Why do teams struggle with conflict in the first place? Most of us believe that conflict is dangerous, that it's a threat to harmony, it's a threat to safety, and to being liked. But the real danger isn't conflict. It's what happens when we don't deal with it, when they aren't resolved and resentments go underground. Silence, feigned agreement, and veiled passive aggression replace trust. Avoiding conflict may seem like it makes teams safe, but it doesn't. The peacefulness is only on the surface. Avoided and unresolved conflict use up a team's energy, leaving it to work on its task without enthusiasm or imagination. So how do we create conflict competence? The key is to establish a group norm of being curious about and interested in differing thoughts, differing opinions, and ideas. Help your team to understand that differences are the only source of learning we have, and that it only happens when we listen to each other. Be a role model where your attention is on the concerns and emotions others are sharing with you. That means you won't be concerned with your own thoughts and interest while you're listening. That's when synergy can happen and differing ideas metamorphose into something new, something creative. Hold people accountable for staying true to this norm. Firm, gentle, and supportive reminders are typically all that are needed. At the same time, as the leader, become a facilitator. Still being human, at some point, 2 or more people will insist on their point and things will start to get heated. That's when your leadership must become facilitative. Many leaders on automatic deal with conflict unilaterally. They select the solution, they pour oil on the troubled waters, or they change the subject to move on. None of which resolves the team's conflict, they just push it underground. Instead, facilitate. Don't allow interruptions, deal with one issue at a time, and move the conversation from who's at fault to solve the issue in a way that it won't repeat. Facilitating, your job isn't to take sides, it's to create mutual understanding. Help your people feel heard and listen to their emotions, not just facts. Then guide the conversation toward resolution and whatever healing is needed. Every conflict offers a choice point. A team can react, fall into blaming, complaining, and withdrawal, Or you and your team can choose to pause, to listen and to understand. That's being conflict competent. That's where you, the leader, must take your team. That's where leadership lives. Not in having answers, but in helping your team grow and become conflict competent. Here's the payoff. Teams use conflict for growth. The magic of conflict competent teams is that they don't just manage conflict, they use it. They use it to learn, they use it to innovate, they use it to create. They use it to deepen relationships and to create synergy. In closing, when a team is conflict competent, differences stop being threats and start being ingredients. It's like creating a cake, combining flour, salt, sugar, and eggs. All different, some even opposite. But bake them together with skill and you get something greater than the ingredients simply stirred together in a bowl. That's synergy and quite tasty. Remind your team that differences are the only source of learning we have, and that it only happens when we listen to each other to understand. Thanks for watching. Stay curious and listen. See you next time.